Welcome to Fuck Your Feelings.
All right, welcome back. What's going on this week? Two actors that died like this week, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how many people are fucking dying? Because like this, I think this week it was like Lieutenant Uhura or Nichelle Nichols. So Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. She was 89. She died today.
Well, that's kind of to be expected.
But then there was another one. It was the NBA player, Bill Russell. He was 88 and he died today.
Okay.
I was like, holy fuck! Like the amount of people dying this summer seems to be like, and not just like 100-year-old actors and actresses that we never fucking heard of, but like people that we almost grew up watching are dying, and it's like, great. Like now, I guess we have to deal with like the shitty actors, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling when you like grow up watching somebody on TV and then, they're like all dying off around the same time. Like it's going to be even worse when in like probably like 10 to 15, maybe 20 years from now when like all the people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like all the people that we grew up watching in like the movies are going to like start dying, and it's just going to be like, fuck. Now we really feel like we're getting old.
Well, and I kind of thought about like actors and actresses that we would have grown up like watching on TV. So I pulled up like 3 tabs from IMDb about like top actors of the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. And it's like, well, I wonder how many are still alive. And some of the ones, at least from the 80s, like I think there's what, 70, and no, there's 50 people in the list. And a lot of them don't even act anymore. Like they're just, well, sorry, they act, but they're in like shitty B movies now. Like they're just pumping them out like every 3 or 4 months kind of thing, right? They're not putting like quality into it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with actors. They get like blackballed from Hollywood over like stupid little shit, and then they can't really find work in Hollywood, so they have to like go do these like straight to TV movies and Netflix and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of them just make their millions and millions of dollars and then just say, "Well, fuck it, I'm going to retire."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Jim Carrey said he's retiring because he's done everything he needs to do. He's comfortable where he is, and like that's fucking, you know what? That's fucking awesome because you were able to do everything you wanted to do. You've set up not only yourself but your whole family, and at this point you've set up all of Hollywood. You've made your gigantic fucking stamp, and you're going out like you're not going out on a low point. Like you're not going out because you had to go to rehab for 2 years or whatever, right? Like you just realized, hey, like I should probably stop. Like, why am I doing it more?
Yeah, there's something noble, I think, about having the self-awareness as an actor to be like, well, it's only downhill from here. I might as well like stop. I mean, it's not like a lot of these actors need the money, to be honest. So, like, I guess, yeah, going out on your sword like that, it's kind of noble.
And like because all of society now is looking for shit people did in the past to tear them down now. So it's good that he can just be like, well, fuck it, like don't hire me in any more movies. I've retired anyway. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do to me? I've already got all my money. Oh, you're going to tear my name down. Cool, whatever. Like, I'm done. Like to kind of, I don't want to say cancel yourself before you get canceled, but like you're pretty much jumping the gun on people doing it. Not to say that Jim Carrey's done questionable shit. Everybody's done questionable shit over the time. But it's just knowing that if they try and cancel him, they fucking can't because he's done. Like he's happy with life right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, That's a good point. I think you'll see a lot more of this coming forward, especially in the older actors, like the ones that can't hold their tongue and they might not be exactly politically correct for today's standards, at least.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot more of them just saying, fuck it, I'm not risking being like canceled or whatever, and they're just gonna like retire. I could definitely see that happening.
And it's funny now because like I'm just scrolling through like the top 100 actors of like the 2000s, right? And I came across Will Smith, and I'm like, huh. Did you see the apology that he released like yesterday or the day before for slapping fucking Chris Rock?
He he released an apology
He
this late.
released, yeah, and that's why
And
he's
no, I
catching
did
so
not.
much shit because I was watching, I think it was like Critical or some shit like that on YouTube, and he was like basically just laughing at Will Smith because there's a whole kind of like template of YouTube apologists that use the same formula over and over again. And he said the only thing Will Smith didn't do was bring in his dog during the apology. He said everything else, all the YouTubers do it. It's exactly like cut and paste. Like you set the camera up from a distance and you slowly walk in and like you do like kind of like the crocodile tears and shit. And you skirt the topic. And he's like, yeah, the only thing he really didn't do was bring in like a dog to kind of to deflect onto his apology kind of thing.
Yikes! I'm gonna have to check this out. I heard he released like a statement or something a week after it happened, but to make like a full video, I don't know if he's trying to like redeem himself in Hollywood or if he's just trying to gain more clout and stay relevant. You know what I mean? It's got to be one or the other because otherwise you can't see somebody like that releasing something like that
Yeah.
for like
Oh,
no reason.
it's definitely because he feels he's been kind of forgotten about and he needs to, like you said, stay relevant. So he's going to put out he's going to put something out just to get his name back in the headlines again, right? Which is exactly what happened. But like now it's just kind of like, dude, like fuck off. We don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from Chris Rock. We don't want to hear from you.
Yeah. I don't know if Chris Rock has done any stand-ups since, but I could see him like tearing Will Smith apart in his stand-ups.
So
Be
I found
hilarious.
something from HuffPost. Of course, I'm using Microsoft Edge, and Microsoft Edge is frozen right now. Come on. Probably doesn't help that I got like 15 tabs open, but oh well. Oh, it's because fucking Huffington Post has an automatic playing video. All right, I'll cancel that. So it says Chris Rock has a message about playing the victim after Will Smith apology video. Until Chris Rock pulls up a seat at the red table, his stand-up shows are how he's responding to being slapped at the Oscars, and presumably Will Smith's latest apology. Hours after the King Richard star broke his silence with an apology video following a months-long break from the public eye, the comedian took the stage at the Fox Theater in Atlanta as part of his Ego Death World Tour.
Hmm.
While Rock did not
How
directly
fitting.
address Smith's heartfelt 6-minute video, according to People, he did pass along a pointed message about how everybody is trying to be a fucking victim. A fucking men. Amen. If everybody claims to be a victim, then nobody will hear the real victims. Even me getting smacked by Suge Smith. He told the crowd, referencing Marion Suge Knight, the Death Row Records co-founder who is currently serving a 28-year sentence for killing man. I went to work the next day. I got kids. Anyone who says words hurt has never been punched in the face. Rock added, makes the same remark about cancel culture. He shared at past shows. Rock has held off on sharing his side of the story since Smith charged the stage at the Oscars ceremony in March before presenting an award. The comedian made an insensitive joke. Wasn't insensitive. Fuck you.
Wasn't insensitive. Give me
A
a break. It was a
supposedly
joke.
insensitive joke about the shaved head of Jada Pinkett Smith, who has spoken publicly about her alopecia. Smith, however, has been more forthcoming. In his recent video, the actor answered a variety of questions about the infamous moment, including whether he's reached out to Rock, who he said is not ready to talk. It's all fuzzy, Smith remarked about his memories from the night. I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior is unacceptable. I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. No. Fucking no. Don't. It's literally the way he's phrasing that makes it sound like he's expecting Chris Rock to come crawling to him for please, can I have an apology? Please, can we talk? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like he's leaving it up to Chris to contact him and repair their relationship.
Yeah. And I get that, because I mean, as much as Chris Rock doesn't want to say he's a victim, he was a victim of, I don't know, domestic violence or whatever the fuck they call it now.
Well, it was assault, right?
Yeah. Well,
battery in some states.
So you shouldn't even don't bring up Chris Rock in your apology. Just say how sorry you are. Talk about your actions. Don't talk about the victim. Don't talk about the person that you smacked the shit out of, right? Just say you should have did better, blah, 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 right? Don't bring him into this. If he wants to be brought into it, he has, I think Chris Rock has a bigger fucking footprint than Will Smith at this point. But he's got the know-how to know how to come out and say, I want to address this, right? Don't make it seem like now if Chris Rock goes to Will Smith that it was Will Smith's idea. That's what I think he's trying to do.
Well, like you said, it was a cookie cutter apology, right?
Yeah.
It was a paint by numbers apology. So
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that just goes to show you right there what Will Smith actually thinks. If he's gonna make it so paint by numbers, then obviously it's not a real apology.
Yeah, and
I'm sure he feels sorry about doing it, but I don't think he feels sorry for Chris Rock. I think he feels sorry that he did it and damaged his own image.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's always been was it the PG-13 rapper, so to speak? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that he's always been the family friendly name. So could you imagine a full on Christian family watching the Oscars, and their idol, their African American idol goes up on stage and slaps another African American idol that they have, and they'd be like, "Oh Lord, oh, no more of this, CBS or whatever the fuck it was on, right? Oh, I'm calling Comcast to get rid of this channel. This is blasphemy."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he alienated a lot of his fans when he did that.
Well, yeah, because he was that was something that he made sure to go out of his way to be, was that family friendly actor, rapper, whatever, right? He made his fame doing that shit.
Yeah, for sure. Whether it was Fresh Prince or his rap albums, he always was super clean on them and stuff. So
yeah. What else is going on in the news today? Everybody's talking about the Pope coming to visit, and I'm like, I don't really fucking care. I'm past this whole residential school shit. I'm past the church apologizing. I'm past Trudeau accommodating apologies. It's just everybody just wants to say sorry, and it's just driving me fucking up the wall.
Well, the fact that some native leader in Canada gave the Pope a headdress is pissing off a lot of natives. I've seen it all over my news feed, and this is just regular natives that you see walking down the street, and they're pissed. They're like, he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve any of that. And like they're freaking out. And I'm just like, well, I don't blame you really. I mean, he shouldn't be wearing that. I mean, I'm not I would never defend the actions of a native person to give a headdress to a white person, but when there's so much history behind what the headdress means and what the Catholic Church means to native people with residential schools and like all the history that comes with that, that is extremely, I think, disrespectful to native people. I would never presume to be offended for somebody else, like a lot of people, especially, white people, seeming to get offended by any little thing that happens to minorities. But I can definitely empathize with a lot of the natives that are upset with that action being super disrespectful to their elders.
Well, see, my question when it comes down to it is because, like from my understanding, the First Nations in Canada are pretty much split 50-50 whether or not the Pope should or should not have worn it. I don't really have a dog in the race because it's not my ancestry, or it's not my customs or anything like that. But it's funny that whoever is in charge of the PR for the Pope let it happen. Like, I could understand that they don't want to offend people that they're basically admitting they kind of did a genocide on. But it's also like he could have literally had the ability to say, like, out of respect for everything that the church has done, like, I want to keep that sacred. I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, to just fucking, like, to just say, like, I don't want to take away from what the visit is.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, at the very least, it's like in poor taste. You know what I mean? It just like just uh the whole issue surrounding it is very like uncomfortable for a lot of people. And yeah, I don't know like how disrespectful it is for somebody to decline something like that as like a white person, but
Yeah.
the fact that it was offered to begin with, I think says a lot about whatever band leader that was. And I think they might want to take a look at their leaders and, you know, make some difficult choices, because if I was in their shoes, I would not offer him a headdress at all.
Well, and the other question that I kind of have for them is, if they're offended that the Pope wore it, I want to know if they voted for Trudeau. And the reason that I'm bringing that in is because they gave Trudeau a headdress in 2016.
Oh, I don't think anybody should be offended that the Pope wore it. I think they should be more offended that the leader, the native leader, gave it to him to wear, because as like a non-native person, if a native person says, "Here, wear this," and you say no, that's like, probably class is disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to address your issues with the person that told him that told him to wear it. That's what
Yeah.
I think, at least.
Yeah, like it from both sides you get put in a hard spot, because, like, I could understand the First Nations people being like, we know why you're here, we appreciate why you're here. We offer this as, like, as thanks or whatever the fuck they did. But I could also understand not wanting to put the other person in the situation where they have to accept it, otherwise they face a whole other fucking slew of shit. Because
Yeah.
if we take the other path where the Pope said, like, no, I don't want to wear that out of respect for your heritage, they'd be fucking, he wouldn't have made it out of town alive, because everybody would be like, oh, how dare you, blah blah blah, when he could have just been respectfully declining it And
Well, it would have been front page right on CTV. It would have
it's
been
still front page on CTV.
Well, it would have been front page for a different reason, though. It would have
Yeah.
been like Pope declines and disrespects native tribe leader with denying wearing headdress or something like that. And like I said, it all falls on to that person who gave him the headdress, as far as I'm concerned, I think.
Yeah, and like from my perspective, it's the fact that if someone's coming to apologize and try and make up for everything that their organization did, not necessarily them as an individual, but their organization, you should treat them as the organization, not as the individual.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that this particular Pope did not, do anything to Canadian natives
Yeah.
that I know of. But yeah, I mean, it's not his prerogative to accept full responsibility. I think that the Catholic Church bears a responsibility for their actions. And him being like the CEO of the Catholic Church, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the guy that's going to have the headlines, right? He's the guy that's going to be out there front page and center. Um, and I don't even like the Pope. And, I can say that, no, I'm not really defending him, but it's just kind of a general idea that, you know, he wasn't around back then, so he didn't have anything directly responsible with any of these people and these children.
And that's the whole like kind of controversy and problem that everybody gets into is everything that's being brought up to, like Chris Rock said, everybody wants to be a victim now, right? Like it's not about the people that are alive now did stuff to other people that are alive now. It's about the people that are alive now are being held accountable for the people that aren't alive now. And it's like, well, hold on, like how long are we just going to keep recycling the whole fucking apologist bullshit? Like why can't everybody just move on? Sure, shit went south in the past, but it's not gone south right now. Like just because you dig up the past doesn't mean the time that you dig up the past is a shit time. No, it's a time to just fucking recognize, yeah, fuck, this happened in the past. We're not gonna dwell on it because it's done, it's over with. As of now, the Pope came in, said sorry. Fucking Trudeau came in, said sorry. Everybody's apologized for all that. So anything going forward in any regard to all this fucking residential school shit that's happened in the past, it shouldn't come up anymore because what else do you want? Everybody who is the top level of anybody that had any affiliation with what happened has apologized. What do you want? What more do you want? Do you want money? Do you want, like, what do you want?
Right. And it just goes back to like the old saying, like the son is not responsible for the sins of the father. And the same thing goes for your ancestors, right?
Yeah.
Like, say somebody's father was a serial killer, right? Killed a whole bunch of people, terrible. He's now in prison. Do you think his like son that was like 8 years old at the time, did not know about his crimes, now deserves to be punished for the sins of his father? Do you think
Yeah.
he has to now pay the victims out of his own pocket? Does he have to pay the families of the victims out of his own pocket for things that his father has done? I think 99% of people would be like, no, that's ridiculous. Like, there's no way we would ever support that. And then people in the same breath would be like, oh, but reparations are okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
no, that's the exact same thing, except it's even farther back. It's generations back. And now you're saying that the sins of the great 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 grandfather are now on to the great 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 grandson. And it's just mind-boggling that people can defend this.
yeah. And it boils down to I think it boils down to exactly what the government wants. The government wants everybody, like Tom MacDonald said, he wants everybody separated because if we work together, we'll go against them. And that's exactly what's happening is Trudeau making an apology is saying like, it's, fuck, where was I going? I had a whole train of thought.
Well, I agree with you completely that like the people at the top are like trying to keep the people at the bottom fighting, so then they don't look up and see the people that are oppressing them and the ones that are trying to keep them down and being like, oh, you're the real enemy, not this guy who's like my neighbor who like happens to look different than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And because 99% of the time, from my understanding, the words that are given so much hate and so much weight amongst the citizens of a country, they're not words that the leaders used. They're words that the citizens used against each other because the leaders told them they should hate each other. And it's exactly what they want is no one, like, they don't want us to say, like, well, he told me I should fucking hate you, but I'm not going to fucking hate you, man. Like, let's go grab a beer. That's the last thing they want. They don't want everybody fucking smiling and happy, living in a nice fucking peaceful utopia because there's no money. There's no money in peace. There's only money in war.
Yeah, it's the old caveat, right? Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing right now. I mean, look at Trudeau's the way he spoke during the Freedom Convoy, talking about these are fringe minorities with unacceptable views. Like, who are you to say which views are acceptable and unacceptable in a free and democratic society? You aren't, because that is right in the name of what we're supposed to be living in, a free and democratic society, you know? And calling them misogynist, racist, homophobic, without any evidence, by the way. And all the people, apparently, in Ottawa, hundreds of thousands of people, they were all a fringe minority with unacceptable views and all these isms that he called them.
Yeah.
And you're trying, and people are trying to say that he's not trying to divide the country. Give me a fucking break. That's the definition of trying to divide the country.
Like, if people were saying that he was trying to bring the country together, why wasn't he there? Why didn't he make himself present to address the people that were there? Because that was, from my understanding, that was the main goal, the main objective that everybody who participated in the Freedom Convoy wanted. They just wanted some address made by Justin Trudeau to just acknowledge them. And
they wanted
he
their voices
faked
heard.
COVID and fucking ran.
Yeah, he ran away. He faked COVID like how many times to try and get away from responsibilities?
Oh, like every time that it was convenient.
I think at least 3 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he got COVID from the States, and he flew back to Canada on his private jet.
Yeah. Well,
which is illegal according to the rules that he put in place that people with COVID can't enter Canada. So he broke his own rules. So he's not only a liar and a disgusting human being, he's also a hypocrite.
well, guess where? Speaking of speak of the devil, guess where he's at now?
Don't know.
He's in Costa Rica for a 2-week vacation with his family.
Oh, how lovely!
Right? Like,
he's gonna get COVID again and bring back another strain.
No, you know what he's going to bring back to Canada?
Monkeypox.
Exactly. He's not going to actually bring it back, but he's going to say
he's going to bring it back.
Some shit in Costa Rica.
Oh, he's going to bring it back. All right. He's gonna be fraternizing with the Cabana Boys and contract monkeypox and bring it back to Canada. You watch.
Now we're not allowed to say that it's the Cabana Boys and the Cabana Boys that are the main transmitters of monkeypox. That hasn't been proven yet.
According to a British study, 95% of the people who had it were engaging in gay sex
Yeah.
at an orgy in Europe. So maybe don't attend gay orgies for a little while until monkeypox dies down. That's my best scientific
Not even just gay
opinion.
orgies, any orgies.
Well, any
Because
orgies, yeah, but
you
I
don't know
mean,
where
gay
you don't
orgies
know
in
where everybody
particular.
else's plugs and sockets have been.
Yeah, but gay orgies in particular.
Yeah. Well, that was never a problem for me anyway, right?
Right, same.
So yeah,
Never
I'll
been to a gay
continue to
orgy.
avoid them.
Yeah, never been to a gay orgy.
That you know of.
Definitely never been to a gay orgy in Europe. Yeah, never been to a regular one either. Man, I haven't even lived.
Yeah, man, you haven't lived till you've potentially been exposed to monkeypox.
Right. Oh my God. That just I saw this GoFundMe. This dude had monkeypox like all over his fucking mouth and face.
Yeah.
Like this guy was definitely eating his boyfriend's asshole.
Well, it's not localized. I'm 99% sure that it's not localized.
I have no idea.
But it's now the big question is like what should we stock up on now? Because like COVID was basically any paper product. And like anything that we run short of now is going to be, it's not going to be blamed on monkeypox because they don't want monkeypox in the news until the whole Ukraine invasion has been done. They're going to, once the Ukraine invasion kind of slows down, they're going to, the World Health Organization, the CDC is going to be like red alert, like monkeypox, like national pre-pandemic stages and shit like that.
Although well, the Ukraine Russia thing, and I can't even talk. Apparently that must be dying down because the World Health Organization came out and said that it's a global health crisis. So they're starting to slowly drift away from the Ukraine Russia thing and start bringing it onto the monkeypox. So yeah, that's the next big thing,
Well,
and it's already started.
the funny part that I'm kind of wondering is how do we know that Biden actually has COVID and not monkeypox?
Well, how do we know he has anything at all? We're just taking the word of him and his doctor, right? He
Man,
could be
he's
faking
like
it
what,
just like
94?
Trudeau.
He's got
No,
something.
he's like 80 something, dude. He's like 80, 84, 85. Wait, no. No, he's in his 70s.
He was
I
born
don't
in
know.
1942, so he'd be 80.
Yeah, okay. So,
So, yeah, like I think anybody around age 80 has some sort of disease anyway.
well, I mean, yeah, your body starts to break down the older you get, right? And you're more
Yeah.
susceptible to different things. And I mean, that's why you see cancer a lot in older people because the older you get, the more likely cancer is to develop in you. It's just time, right? It's a time frame.
Now, I just pulled something up from globalnews.ca. It says monkeypox global response is not enough. Experts at AIDS conference say. And it's like, why is this a topic at the AIDS conference? Is this a strain of AIDS? Like,
No, it's
elaborate more.
transmitted similar to AIDS, apparently. Well, apparently it's transmitted through touch, but the majority of people contracting it are having sexual activity. So the that's probably why the AIDS people are getting involved because of all the gay orgies. I'm just saying that's
I know.
got to be the connection.
They're saying that over 19,000 cases of monkeypox have been reported over the last few months from 78 countries, mostly among men who have sex with other men,
Hey,
with
told you.
803 cases in Canada as of July 29th.
Yeah, there was a big outbreak in a bathhouse in Montreal. Apparently, a whole bunch of men who frequent this bathhouse all got monkeypox.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. It's getting interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious, if it does turn into the next HIV/AIDS, well, it's basically an endemic because there's no cure. If they're going to approach it the same way as they did in the 80s when it started becoming basically a huge fucking crisis that like people were literally getting the shit kicked out of them for being around other men. Not necessarily because they were gay, but like you could have had a straight guy next to a gay guy and they both got the shit kicked out of them because people would just be like, well, it's the same situation with like the fucking like people from China and like Japan and all that. They all faced the same shit when COVID started coming because everybody with a fucking smooth brain started saying like, oh, well, you're Asian, you must have the China virus, and started beating the shit out of them. And then they went home and got it, and they're like, yeah, I got it from beating the shit out of him.
Well, it's funny, beating the shit out of somebody with AIDS is probably a horrible idea because you cut your knuckles and they have a nosebleed, you now have
Yeah.
AIDS. It's transmitted through blood, right? And
Yeah.
like other bodily fluids. So that was probably the stupidest idea ever. Like, let's go beat up the AIDS patient. Now let's stay the hell away from the AIDS patient, you idiot.
Yeah, it's just shocking the way that certain people think of like, well, just the way certain people think. That's shocking.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. We've seen it countless times and all over the country. It's an epidemic of stupidity. I saw this really funny thing. It was like, remember when we thought access to information was what causing people to be stupid? Nope, that wasn't it. Because now we got the internet where anybody can access the wealth of the human intellect. And there's still people who think the earth is flat and shit like that.
Yeah, but
That's another thing. I like, and people that think the moon landing was faked and they're calling me a conspiracy theorist because I think the government's lying.
yeah. Well,
Come
yeah,
on.
we were conspiracy theorists because we figured out that, not figured out, but we made claims that the government was manufacturing a bioweapon and that it got leaked from a lab in China. And now the news, mainstream media, is actually investigating claims that happened.
Well,
But
yeah,
we're the conspiracy theorists. Oh no,
it's
don't
all
listen to
but
us.
it's all but confirmed now.
Yeah,
They pretty much that's their going belief now. And at the time when this information was still available 2 years ago, by the way, the information available 2 years ago that we used to determine that it was likely a lab leak is the same information that the mainstream media is using now to claim that it was probably a lab leak. So
yeah,
it's not like we were just guessing. We were using the information that was available at the time, and we
you're just
determined
putting
that
two and two together.
that's likely what it was.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they're just like, oh, and anytime you shared anything on Facebook, they would always like put this like little thing underneath saying like partially false information
Yeah.
or false information. There's no evidence of a lab leak when I could literally show Facebook the evidence that I was using. But they don't want to see that. They just label everything as false that they don't like.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, imagine if I still had Facebook and everything that I shared with you was being like re-brought up on an anniversary every year on Facebook, right? People would be coming to me being like, "Oh, how'd you get that to show up?" I'd be like, "I shared it last year." Well, yeah, but they just announced it like yesterday. Yeah, but I shared it last year. Well, yeah, but how'd you get it to look like that? I shared it last year. Right? Like that's exactly what people would be like. Like, how did you Photoshop it to make it look like that?
Oh yeah, people are not too bright. I mean, it. it was pretty much common sense. I was actually really skeptical about the whole thing from the get-go, but I
Not me.
was playing good. I was playing good citizen,
Devil's
so
advocate.
got my shots. Whatever, did my good citizen thing. Got 2 shots, and now I'm like, you could not pay me to get a third shot. If they gave
Well,
me $100, I'd be like, nah, I'm not. I'm definitely not getting a third shot.
I mean, they could pay me, but like they'd have to pay me fucking like uh I was gonna say Khashoggi money, but that's not the money I want.
Well, I have an uncle that got his
Omer
fourth
Cotter.
one. Eh?
They'd have to pay me Omer Cotter kind of money to get a third
Oh
shot,
yeah. Oh my god.
right?
Yeah.
A good
No
$35 million. Yep. Give me that third
Well,
shot.
I'll tell you a story about my uncle who had his fourth shot. If
Oh,
you want to hear about
Jesus.
that, he
Oh,
was sick for a week.
yeah.
He literally felt like he was dying. His wife thought that he was gonna die. That's how bad his reaction was to the fourth shot.
Yeah.
And he said he's never getting another one again. And his third one was bad, but his fourth one was even worse. It seems like it's getting worse and worse with every shot. And oh geez, he's older than my dad, I think. So he's like, geez, he's like in his 70s, right? He's like in his like mid 70s. And he literally thought he was gonna die. That's how bad he was. So
And the worst part is like if he expresses those interests to people who are like hook, line, and sinker for the vaccine, they're just going to say like, "Well, that's because it's working. That's your body fighting extremely hard to build these antigens or whatever the fuck they call them, right?" And it's like, no, that's because you've been exposed way too much to too many concentrated injections of the virus and its antibodies.
right. And it's based off the initial strain, and we know that the virus has mutated, what, 10 times by now?
Oh fuck.
Close to 10 times at least.
Well,
So,
did did you see the article? I swear to God I sent you the article that they found oh shit. Rabbit hole unlocked. There was a lady with HIV AIDS that had COVID that had evolved 34 times.
I'm not sure what you mean.
When she had AIDS, right? So she got COVID tests, and when they did like the PCR, every time they did it on her, she kept testing positive, positive, positive. But she had 34 different strains.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of that before.
I totally forgot the HIV AIDS part of it until I just fucking brought that up.
Yeah, send me the article after this is over. I want to read it over.
I want to see if I can find
Um, well, AIDS does reduce your immune system, right?
Yeah.
It's HIV is basically a human, I think it's called amino something virus. Basically, it kills your immune system, makes it so you can't fight off anything. So technically, when you die from AIDS, the AIDS is not what kills you. You die of like the common cold or pneumonia or whatever you get in the hospital, right?
Yeah. But
So
yeah, I think it lowers your white blood cells or some shit like that.
yeah, maybe. And anyway, so that would make sense that she kept getting COVID and couldn't fight it off. If she like, had AIDS,
Oh,
that would
it's
make sense.
32 COVID-19 mutations. Here it is. I've never seen this website before, but it matches exactly what I said. HIV positive woman develops 32 COVID-19 mutations inside her body in 216 days.
Wow. I would like to look at the source of that. That's interesting.
Now, the website is dnaindia.com. I've never fucking heard of that, but I'm gonna keep looking for like something
Well,
that we've heard of.
any good article will have sources connected to the article as well that you can look up. So that would be
Yeah.
that'd be the first thing to look for. But yeah, very interesting. But yeah, somebody with HIV definitely would have a worse time off with COVID, 100%.
And like it's kind of shocking now because the amount of shit that we've joked about over the last 3 years that we could almost call them predictions about what was going to happen, how it was going to happen, and shit like that. Because the moment mainstream media started saying like people are trying to figure out how to use vaccine passes and when to use them, and we're like, well, there it is. You're not getting rid of that anymore. Next thing you know, you're going to have to scan your phone and the government's going to be tracking you. And well, whoopsie, the ArriveCan app, the COVID-19 Canadian tracker app, yeah, they're just being exposed for installing backdoors into your phones and digital devices so the government could track you. And they've been working with Rogers and Bell and Telus to track you without your permission. Huh. Fuck.
Yep. And
Didn't see that coming.
also, everybody keeps forgetting about this. The government illegally tracked, I think it was 30 million cell phones during the initial COVID outbreak and did not tell the population and used it as like their database of like to see how like the virus spread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people remember this, but that is completely, utterly illegal to do. Basically, it's a mini thing of what Snowden exposed America of doing when he dipped out of America. Basically, the government spying on its own citizens.
Yeah, and it's something that like because when I started getting into technology and started to see like what was being put on different like electronics and shit like that, I started kind of thinking like the absolute worst case scenario that people are going to use these for, and told people like flat out like, yeah, it's not just to help you find better deals on Amazon. It's to build a whole digital footprint for you so they can sell all your data to Amazon, and then Amazon's going to be taking over your whole fucking house. And it's now we have Amazon speakers with microphones that are listening to every word you say with Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. Like, if they were able to gather all this cell phone data before the ArriveCan app, just think of what they can do now when every one of those apps is linked to your passport.
Well,
they have everything, all of your information, all specifically encoded to each dot they're looking at on this map. So if you go from like point A to point B, they can see you travel that way, and they know your passport information, they got your picture on file, everything. Just think about that for a second. If the government would go that far to track cell phones without this ArriveCam app connected to it, just think of the disgusting invasion of privacy that it will be once every Canadian has this on their phone.
In regards to that, it's already on your phone. Now, I'm saying that even if you haven't installed ArriveCan or fucking like anything related to like COVID-19 specific or specificity, Google and Apple both pushed out operating system updates with COVID-19 tracking in them during the, I believe it was first year of COVID, before ArriveCan was even considered.
Yeah, that was their initial push, and pretty much nobody turned it on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's already on. Just because you click a toggle to say on doesn't mean it's not on until you do it.
Well, yeah, like I said, the government still has the option to track your phone, but when you have, let's say, ArriveCan on your phone, that's linked to your passport, right?
Yeah.
So they have a specific set of information that has like everything, your picture, everything, right? So that's like a scary kind of 1984-esque situation.
Yeah, and
Speaking of 1984, have you watched or read the book Brave New World?
nope.
Worth a
Why
read.
is that an Orwell book?
No, it's Huxley, and it's basically a uh more bright and cheerful version of 1984, but also more horrific. Instead of how in 1984 they're using like control and everything on everybody and like keeping them down and suppressed, in Huxley's Brave New World, people are um gleefully accepting their master's control, kind of like how we're seeing what's going on today. People,
Oh,
yeah, it's very,
I've seen
very
the show.
interesting. It's
There's
very
there's
interesting.
a show on Peacock that they did.
Oh yeah, I heard they did a series. It apparently it's not as good as the book, but whatever is, right?
Well, from what like it's been so long since I seen it. It came out what 2 years ago, but like
Mhm.
just the trailer that's playing silently in the background. From my understanding, you have to take a pill like once every day to be happily functioning.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah,
And
it's
I mean, like throw that in with getting a COVID vaccine once a year or once every 6 months. Well,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm actually quite shocked with the gleefulness of the Canadian people to allow this type of privacy invasion to go on. You know, it was you like everybody back when. Do you remember when America had 9/11 and they brought in the Patriot Act?
yep.
And everybody in America on the left were freaking out and they were like, "Oh my God, like this is a violation of privacy." And all the people on the right were just like, it's yeah, it's
It's for
terrorism.
our
You
safety.
gotta get rid of the terrorism, so you gotta do this. It's, I feel safer going to airports now. And the left were like, no, fuck that. And
Yeah.
now you're seeing the exact opposite. Now you're seeing the left being like, "Oh, we need this app for our safety and we need all this stuff." And the right are going, "Wait, no, this is
It's
privacy
not what you
invasion."
said 20 years ago.
Exactly. And it's such a flip-flop, but like all the independents like myself and like libertarians are obviously saying, "Yo, what the fuck? This is invasion of privacy. This is bullshit. I don't want a little bit of uh uh
And
security for an invasion of privacy."
yeah. Now, I don't know if I showed you this or not. It's I think it's being rolled out in Europe right now. Is paying with a fingerprint.
Um I don't think I've seen it, but it does make sense. I mean, your
And
phone
it's
already has a fingerprint scanner on it, and you can pay with your phone, so it's one less step. Cut out the middleman of the phone.
yeah, and it's funny because I'll pull it up here in a second, but they're basically directing it towards people who are forgetful. So like, I don't want to say people who are forgetful are stupid, but they're directing it towards forgetful people because they know that it's going to benefit them the most, and they're going to tell their friends how convenient it is and tell their family how convenient it is, and they're going to, because this person is like um I'll say happy, for lack of a better term, they'll kind of take their word for it because this person's always got a positive light on things. Oh, it's always gonna they'd never steer me in the wrong direction. And then next thing you know, everybody's gonna have a social credit score.
Yeah, I mean, once the government implements something like that, which can easily be done, look at how they did in China with 1 billion people. You don't think that can happen anywhere? If China did it with 1 billion people, it can happen anywhere. Um, so yeah, basically, if they are trying to link like a fingerprint to like a bank account and like basically your whole life will be like on a computer, and when you put your fingerprint in the scanner, it'll basically take the money probably directly out of your bank account and whatnot. I mean, it sounds good in theory until they shut down your bank account for protesting the government.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't think they do
Protesting
that,
for
though.
your rights.
I don't
No,
think
they
the
wouldn't
government
do
would ever
that.
do that.
No. They would only do it to those fringe minority people that I keep hearing about, that Justin Trudeau keeps telling me about, whoever they are. I would never be one of those. Oh my God, you're outlawing abortion? Let's protest. Oh, my bank account's frozen. You stupid fucks.
Why
Like,
can't I buy
literally,
my
there's so
latte?
many stupid fucking people out there. Now I'm just getting mad. I'm just getting angry. Like, oh man, like, it's so dumb. It can't happen to me. I do whatever the government tells me until the one time I don't.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
Jesus.
exactly what is coming across. Like the amount of people that we'll say 10 years ago who just used fucking Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer because they were happy with it. They didn't need all the other fancy bells and whistles that all the other shit. Even if they wake up now, they're fucking, it's way too late to start protecting your privacy this far into the game, because you've already given everything they need to know. Now they just track your cookies and they can see exactly how you're progressing, even if you're not on any social media whatsoever. They've already got all the information they needed long ago.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this week they're into Lady Gaga. Okay, let's bombard them with fucking apps. You know what I mean? Like, bombard them with ads for Lady Gaga shit and like concert tickets. And, you know, they have algorithms which are basically a set of code that does everything that they want to do in regards of tracking and ads, pushing ads to people, and it's all automated.
Yeah.
So if you think you have privacy, I mean, this goes back to where, you know, if you guys want to hear more about this privacy issue, we have a whole episode on the privacy issue. Maybe you can link it into the description, or what's the title? I can't remember what the title was.
I think it's honestly just like privacy and prepare to be something. It's like the third episode we put up.
Yeah, it was episode number 3. So yeah.
And I mean, it's cybersecurity and privacy is something I could go on fucking forever for, because it's just something that I love to let people know how wrong they are when they think they're being so safe.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, definitely. It's
you guys check out that episode if you want more on cybersecurity, because it's a really informative episode.
Yeah, I'll get that linked in the description. And if I can figure out how to work cards, it'll be fucking, I don't know, your top right-hand corner. Fucking, if I figure it out, cool, it's there. If I don't figure it out, it's in the description.
Yeah, pretty new to YouTube posting, but it's all right. Okay, guys. Well, peace out.
And that, my friends, was fuck your feelings.